just dropped over $4,000 buying every pre-built gaming PC that actually matters right now. And I'm about to tell you something that's going to either save you from a massive mistake or make you feel really good about a decision you haven't made yet. Because here's what nobody in the pre-built PC space wants to admit. Most of these machines are highway robbery dressed up in RGB lighting and aggressive marketing. But buried inside all that noise are 5 pre-built rigs that genuinely deliver. Machines that punch so far above their price tags, it's almost embarrassing for the competition. Here's the thing nobody's talking about. 2 of these are currently on sale in ways that won't last through the end of the month. One of them is sitting on shelves being completely ignored because of its name, despite having hardware that would make a custom builder jealous. And the #1 pick on this list does something so smart with its cooling system that it actually outperforms rigs that cost $1,500 more. Let's get into it. Number 5. Nimuis Ultimate Gaming and Content Creation PC. The Nimuis Ultimate is what happens when a company decides to stop pretending that gaming and content creation are 2 separate hobbies. Because they're not. And Nimuis is one of the only pre-built manufacturers that actually gets that. Under the hood, you're getting a configuration designed to handle both 4K gaming sessions and multi-track video editing without breaking a sweat. The GPU pairing is serious hardware, not a watered-down mobile variant, not last generation's budget chip slapped into a flashy case. The CPU to GPU balance here is one of the best I've tested in this category, meaning you're not paying for one component to sit around waiting on the other. The case design deserves credit too. Proper airflow, a front intake that actually works, and cable management that doesn't look like someone had a panic attack behind the motherboard tray. That matters more than people realize because thermals are what separate a PC that runs well for 5 years from one that thermal throttles 18 months in. The reality check though, the Nimuis sits on the higher end of the price range for this list, and for pure gaming without content creation needs, you're paying for features you might never use. If you're a streamer, a video editor, or someone who genuinely does both, this is your machine. If you just want to play games, keep reading. Number 4. Skitec King 95. Gaming PC, Ryzen 7 9700X. RTX 5070. Skitec has been in the pre-built game long enough to know exactly where to cut corners and where not to. And with the King 95, they made almost all the right decisions. The Ryzen 7 9700X is a legitimate workhorse. 8 cores, 16 threads, and an architecture that handles modern gaming titles the way they were meant to be handled. Without the stuttering, without the frame time inconsistencies, without the excuse-making that comes with budget CPUs. Pair that with the RTX 5070, and you've got a rig that handles 1440p, gaming at max settings, and pushes into 4K territory with confidence. Here's where Skitec earns my respect. They didn't cheap out on the RAM or storage, which is exactly where most pre-built manufacturers quietly rob you. You're getting a configuration that doesn't require you to immediately crack the case open and start swapping components just to make the machine livable. The fatal flaw? The stock cooler situation is adequate, but not inspired. Under sustained workloads, long gaming sessions, overnight renders, temperatures creep higher than I'd like for hardware this capable. An aftermarket cooler fixes it completely, but you shouldn't have to spend an extra $50 on a machine at this price point. That's the honest truth. At its current market price, the King 95 represents strong value in the RTX 5070 pre-built space. If you catch it on sale, it becomes a genuine no-brainer. Number 3. CLX Set Gaming PC, Ryzen 7 9800X3D, RTX 5080. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The CLX set is expensive. I know it. You know it. But I need you to stay with me for 60 seconds before you scroll past this entry, because the hardware inside justifies a conversation most budget guides refuse to have. The Ryzen 7 9800X3D is the single best gaming CPU on the market right now. Full stop. AMD's 3D V-Cache technology does something to gaming performance that raw clock speed simply cannot replicate. It feeds the CPU game data so fast that traditional bottlenecks essentially disappear. In titles that push CPU limits, the 9800X3D doesn't just win. It wins by a margin that makes every other chip look like it's still waking up. Stack the RTX 5080 on top of that, and you have a machine built for 4K at maximum settings across every major title, plus ray tracing headroom headroom to spare, plus DLSS4 performance that makes the raw rasterization numbers almost irrelevant. CLX builds clean. The loop liquid cooling is properly spec'd for this hardware. The case has room to breathe, and the whole thing arrives looking like someone who actually cares about their work put it together. Who is this for? If you're a serious gamer who keeps rigs for 4 to 6 years and wants to be at the top of the performance curve for most of that time, this is the machine. If you're gaming at 1080p or 1440p on a budget monitor, this is overkill, and I'd tell you to your face. Number 2. Azuna Intel Core i5-14400 RTX 4060Ti iGaming PC. This is the one that surprises people every single time, because when you read i5-14400 next to RTX 4060 Ti, the instinct is to scroll past it. Budget CPU, mid-range GPU. Sounds like a machine for someone who couldn't afford anything better, right? Wrong. Here's what that spec sheet is hiding. The i5-14400 is a 10-core chip, 6 performance cores, 4 efficiency cores, and in real-world gaming scenarios, it keeps up with processors costing 50% more because gaming doesn't actually need 60 threads of compute. It needs fast, clean, single-threaded performance, and the 14400 delivers exactly that without the price premium. The RTX 4060 Ti is the GPU the 4060 should have been. At 1080p, it's basically untouchable at this price. At 1440p, it handles the overwhelming majority of modern titles at high settings without complaint. The 8GB VRAM ceiling is the legitimate concern going forward, but for where gaming sits right now, it's workable. Azuna put this package together at a price point that makes custom builders uncomfortable. When you factor in the Windows license, the case, the PSU, and the assembly, building equivalent yourself costs more than you'd think. And that's before you value your own time. This is the machine for someone who wants a real gaming experience without financing a luxury car to get there. It's the honest, no-nonsense pick on this list, and I'd recommend it to my friends without hesitation. Number 1. Optima Thunder X 3 Black Desktop Gaming PC. I'm going to be straight with you. When I first saw the Optima Thunder X3's marketing, I almost didn't buy it. The name sounds like something from a 2009 gaming energy drink ad. The branding is aggressive in a way that usually signals mediocre internals hiding behind RGB smoke and mirrors. I was wrong. The X3 is the best pre-built gaming PC at its price point that I have tested this year. And here's why. The thermal architecture inside this case is the story. Optima engineered the airflow path differently from every other manufacturer in this segment. Intake, exhaust, and GPU cooling working together instead of fighting each other. The result is temperatures that run consistently 8 to 12 degrees Celsius cooler under sustained load than comparable machines from bigger names. That's not a rounding error. That's the difference between a CPU boosting aggressively for hours and one that quietly backs off when no one's watching. The GPU they've paired in the X3's flagship configuration is punching at a performance tier that its spec sheet undersells, specifically because it's running cooler and more consistently than the same GPU in competing builds. Thermals are performance. This machine proves that better than anything I've tested. Build quality is legitimately impressive. No rattling panels, no pinched cables creating future failures. PSU headroom that gives you upgrade flexibility down the road. This feels like a machine assembled by people who game, not just people who build PCs for a paycheck. The catch? Stock moves fast, and Optima's retail presence is limited compared to the Skitecs and CLXs of the world. If you want one, don't sit on it. This is my top pick. Not because of the name, not because of the RGB, but because it solves the core problem of pre-built gaming PCs. Heat, better than anyone else at this price. And in a world where everything gets faster every 18 months, keeping your hardware cool is how you make it last.